Question 2. DS. Company C sold product B to make a profit. Company C calculates its profit by subtracting expenses from its revenue. What is the sum of this year's profit and last year's profit? Condition 1. For Company C selling product B, this year's revenue increased from last year's revenue by 40%. Condition 2. For Company C selling product B, this year's expenses increased from last year's expenses by 20%. Solution. Now we will solve this DS question using the variable approach. Tip 2. If there are 3 or more variables, including the 2x2 questions, then E is the likely answer. Let's apply the 3 steps suggested previously. Follow the first step of the variable approach by modifying and rechecking the original condition and the question. We have to find the sum of this year's profit and last year's profit if Company C sold product B to make a profit, which is calculated by subtracting expenses from its revenue. Let's look at the information from the original condition. The answer to this question will be in terms of a unique value of total profit over 2 periods, and therefore, we apply CMT2 to this question. There should only be one answer. The question can be transferred to a separated 2x2 table, a type of question that is frequently seen on the GMAT nowadays. We will assign a variable to the different cases as shown below. Last year's revenue, A. This year's revenue, B. Last year's cost, C. This year's cost, D. This is related to profits, so you need to know the revenue and the cost. The answer is E because there are 4 variables. We are dealing with 4 variables, A, B, C, and D, and we are looking for the value of A minus C plus B minus D. Follow the second and third steps. From the original condition, we have 4 variables, A, B, C, and D. To match the number of variables with the number of equations, we need 4 equations. Since conditions 1 and 2 will provide 1 equation each, E would most likely be the answer. Recall 3 principles, choose E as the most likely answer. Let's therefore take a look at both conditions together. Condition 1 tells us that B equals A plus 40% times A, which equals A plus 0.4 times A, which equals 1.4 times A. Condition 2 tells us that D equals C plus 20% times C, which equals C plus 0.2 times C, which equals 1.2 times C. Since profit equals revenue minus cost, we have A minus C plus B minus D equals A minus C plus 1.4 times A minus 1.2 times C, which equals A plus 1.4 times A minus C minus 1.2 times C, which equals 2.4 times A minus 2.2 times C. We cannot figure out the values of A and C. Since there is no unique solution for 2.4 times A minus 2.2 times C, it's not sufficient according to CMT2, which means that the number of answers must be 1. It is 90% likely that the answer would be E if there are 4 variables based on the 2x2. Both conditions 1 and 2 together are not sufficient, so E is the correct answer. Answer: E.